I want to welcome everyone and thank you all for joining us here today to officially celebrate the grand opening of the Pitkin Bikeway. There were many people and organizations involved in bringing this innovative 5-mile bikeway to fruition, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that today. We're excited to have FC Move's Program Manager Paul Sizemore, Councilmember Bob Overbeck, and Councilmember and Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Horak here to say a few words. So with that, I would like to introduce Paul Sizemore, our FC Move's Program Manager, here to say a few words.
It's a pleasure for me to be here today and celebrate the completion of the Pitkin Bikeway. This is a critical piece of our low-stress bicycle network. Now that it's completed, people on bicycles will have the ability to travel up to 4 miles across the center of the community on bike lanes and intersection crossings that are safe and comfortable. It represents the fulfillment of a vision from the 2014 Bicycle Master Plan, and it sets the stage for a bunch of other exciting projects that are going to help us close gaps in the bicycle network and make it easier for people to get around. The Pitkin Bikeway is an exciting piece of bicycle infrastructure, but it's also a lot more than that. It's an asset to the entire transportation system and is part of what we call a layered network, which basically means that people have safe and convenient ways and multiple choices that they can get across the community. By opening up this route to bicyclists, we can help relieve traffic congestion on the busy arterial roads like West Elizabeth Street or Prospect Road. And by making intersection crossings like this safer for everybody, for both bicyclists and pedestrians, we're also one step closer towards achieving our commitment to Vision Zero, which is aspiring to eliminate all traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. I'd like to acknowledge some of the key people and organizations that helped make this project a reality. The idea behind the Low Stress Network was, of course, led by our FC Bikes Program Manager, Tessa Grieger, and has been supported by the entire FC Moves team. That includes FC Bikes, Safe Routes to School, and our group of transportation planners. The process has been a collaboration with the wider community, but especially with advocates for safer bicycle facilities. Carrying the project forward through implementation involved the hard work and dedication of our sister departments in Planning, Development, and Transportation. In particular, I want to recognize the help of the Traffic Operations Department and the Engineering Department, who really made this a reality. I'd be remiss in not mentioning that a large portion of the funding for this project came from the Federal Transportation Alternatives Program, which is administered by the Colorado Department of Transportation. And so we owe a big thanks both to the TAP program and to CDOT for seeing this project through to completion. And finally, Colorado State University has been just a great partner and supporter, not only of the Pitkin corridor, but of our entire low-stress network concept. For those of you who haven't been to one of our Open Streets events, these are fun-filled celebrations that open up the streets to bicycles and pedestrians and really show us all the possibilities for how we can use our public streets. It's going to be a great way to introduce a really large cross-section of the community to the Pitkin Bikeway. And finally, I want to conclude my comments by thanking our city leadership and our city council for thinking really big and for supporting innovative projects like the Pitkin Bikeway and like the 2014 Bicycle Master Plan. It's without their vision and support, we wouldn't be able to do these types of projects. So we owe them a great debt of gratitude. So with that, I'll hand things off to one of those people we owe our thanks to, Councilmember Bob Overbeck.
Thank you, Paul, and glad to see everybody here today. This is an exciting day. I've had a chance to view this route from all the way here from Shields to LeMay Avenue. This project brings Fort Collins one step closer to our road to 2020 sustainability goals. The transportation sector makes up about 25% of our community's greenhouse gas emissions. Bicycling is a zero-emission solution with benefits to health and the local economy. Thousands of CSU students, faculty, and staff live in easy biking distance to the Pitkin corridor. The new signalization arterial crossing will give them a safe route to and from work and to school. This bikeway also creates a way for families to bike their children to school. We are so happy to see this project become a reality in our community, so I now take great pleasure to introduce our former mayor and current Mayor Pro Tem, Jerry Horak.
So I think first all, right, Shields traffic and the level of it now illustrates the need for this, right? I mean, and the need for a safe way to cross significant arterials. One of the ones I remember when I was on council when I was a young man, now I'm an old man back on council again, was when I was thinking about our streets and whether they really were bike lanes or safe places for people to go. And I always use my daughter, who was then about 9 when I was thinking about this, that if she couldn't go on a street like Shields, which she wouldn't go on, or LeMay, which is even worse, right, in places with a 3-foot or no bike lane, then there wouldn't be a safe place for her to really go between points A and B. This really is the first really safe place that folks know about. A lot of folks, and there's lots of professional bike riders here who know all the ways to get across town and safe ways, but if you're a normal citizen and you're a child or your child going it, you wouldn't go many of the places that you go. You want something that really works for normal people to learn that there's a safe way to get it. And the other big one, right, is we talk about that last mile. How do you get people that last mile to their location on the MAX system or whatever? Again, this gives the people a real alternative. You know, we use the words multimodal. I nearly, choke on it when I say the word because people go, what the hell's that? And it's just different ways to be able to get from point A to point B, and this gives people a different way to do it. And I'd really like to thank all the folks who worked on this. And I know we took some heat from some of the neighborhood activists in the area because of the, what is that called? What's the bird name for the toucan? Yeah, my son always knew the toucan when he was 3 or 4 years old. So the toucan turns, really good for bikes, really safe for bikes and pedestrians, but not liked as much by motorists who want to turn left, right? They don't like it as much, but it's good. I think, again, folks will get used to that. It's really not that big a deal. You always learn how to make your turns, and we all know right turns are safer than left turns. So anyway, I want to thank everybody to do it. I want to have the Mayor Martinez and Councilmember Martinez come up and say a word or two.
I didn't expect to say anything, but I noticed one of the bike safety crosswalks over there on Pitkin and LeMay, which I think is fantastic. I didn't even know it was there until I actually took that route on my bicycle. So this is a great access, obviously promoting public safety. Obviously, I appreciate staff and people who put their hard work into it because it takes time. The process isn't easy. It's really kind of slow process to get things done, and it's expensive. So I really appreciate staff and all the volunteers that work on this project so much that sometimes we just don't say it enough. And we really thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. I want to invite council members as well as Paul Sizemore up to cut the ribbon. 1, 2.